Absolutely a make or break game for his future with the Browns. I mean, I'm not going to say the future in the NFL because there's always somebody that might give you a second chance and grab you. But in terms of his future in Cleveland, it's this Sunday. He cannot look like trash. He cannot go out there and complete 25% of his passes. He cannot look lost and completely discombobulated. And we're not going to throw out excuses about him not having any reps with the first team. And I'm not saying this negatively towards him. I don't believe he was put in a position to succeed the other day. I don't believe he's been put in a position to succeed with the Cleveland Browns. I view the Cleveland Browns as a house divided, where whether it's the offensive coordinator and the head coach having a different view than the GM and the owner.
A week of practice. Let's let him get a game plan.
Yep.
And let's let him actually get some reps. You can see that it's there.
Mental reps compared to live bullets flying and doing the real thing is night and day. It is so difficult against that Baltimore defense to have no preparation throughout the week, at least from a physical standpoint.
If you watch that second half and watch what we've seen, he should just be the starter. Man, that dude at least tried to push the ball down the field.
You won't believe this actually went down. Stephen A. Smith woke up and chose full chaos, unloading on Shedeur Sanders like someone told him his favorite restaurant doubled the prices overnight. This wasn't a normal rant. It was a whole performance, loud enough to make the analysts stare at him like they needed subtitles to survive the segment. And the wildest part? Shedeur didn't even do anything dramatic this time. Whatever Stephen A. released came from a level of frustration scientists would need new equipment to measure. If you're enjoying, please subscribe to the channel. It actually helps a lot. The second the Browns announced Shedeur Sanders was jumping from QB4 to QB1, like he hit some secret cheat code, the football world spiraled into instant confusion.
They get to 11-on-11 session, apparently, and they've got the first-team defense out there, but it's the second-team offense going against the first team. And who's leading the second-team offense? It's Shedeur Sanders. So Shedeur Sanders is taking reps, and this is what we've been asking for forever. He's taking reps against the first team defense. And by all accounts, Kid held his own. And you got to remember when we're talking about this, I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders took first team reps. He did not. He took second team reps against the first.
Analysts suddenly acted like detectives and mind readers, trying to figure out whether Sunday's matchup with the Raiders was a fresh beginning, a setup, or some kind of NFL lab experiment gone off script. Leading the entire frenzy with volcanic force was Stephen A., who treated Shedeur's situation like it was a government-level operation mixed with a coaching puzzle and topped with a little are they trying something strange energy. Because in Stephen A.'s universe, this single game, this one Sunday afternoon, might shape Shedeur's entire future in Cleveland. Not the whole NFL, just Cleveland. Because even Stephen A. knows the league always finds room for a young player with real talent somewhere else. But Cleveland? He acted like that door could slam shut faster than someone catching their sibling sneaking into their room without permission.
Against him is that he's about the why. He's not somebody that just does what he's told. He wants to know why. That's true, but it smells. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it smells to me. I really viewed him as being set up to fail, or at least not prepared to succeed. Maybe set up to fail is too strong because it speaks to the intent of a malice nature by the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, which I would not do.
And in classic Stephen A. style, he laid out the rules like a drill sergeant. Shedeur cannot walk out there looking like he forgot which color jersey he's supposed to throw to. No bad performance. No 25% completion day. No drifting around the pocket like someone searching for aisle signs in a grocery store. And absolutely no excuses about not getting first-team reps because Stephen A. said he is officially out of patience, out of grace, and possibly out of oxygen when talking about how this franchise functions. Not that he blamed Shedeur, far from it. He basically called the Browns a divided house, a place where the offensive coordinator and head coach might be playing checkers while the GM and owner are playing Monopoly. Or maybe nobody's playing anything because nobody seems to know what the other is doing. From Stephen A.'s perspective, Shedeur wasn't just put in a tough spot. He wasn't given the basic tools to survive. No real reps, no rhythm, no timing, no preparation, no chance to breathe before being tossed into live NFL fire. But then came the moment that made the room freeze, when Stephen A. loudly hinted that something intentional might be happening behind the scenes. Dan Orlovsky practically swallowed his own eyebrows. Dan heard the tone, caught the message, and instantly went into emergency mode, trying to cool the whole segment down before social media detonated. He wasn't saying the situation wasn't messy, he just wanted everybody to relax with the sabotage talk. But Stephen A. wasn't relaxing. He doubled down like someone filling out a risky parlay on Sunday morning. To him, if you're a two-time coach of the year and your quarterback walks onto the field looking totally lost, something is off. Not an innocent, tough day kind of off. More like, why does this QB2 look like he downloaded the playbook this morning? Kind of off.
A QB2. Your QB1 is an undersized dude, a hit away from getting concussed and taken out of the game. Kevin Stefanski is a two-time NFL Coach of the Year. He knows a thing or two about coaching football. How unprepared did Shedeur Sanders look? Suddenly, he's not comprehending plays. Suddenly, he doesn't know the playbook. Suddenly, he doesn't know what's going on. That's not the reputation that we've ever heard about Shedeur Sanders. We've heard he's incredibly familiar with the playbook. We've heard that he's very
Dan tried using logic, stats, and the classic these things happen approach, but Stephen A was way past logic. He was running on pure instinct, suspicion, and 3 decades of watching NFL teams pull off things nobody can explain. And he wasn't buying that this was random bad luck or a simple rookie moment, because apparently once you hit quarterback number 13 under Kevin Stefanski, people start raising eyebrows. Then the whole conversation shifted to the real question. Does this game actually determine anything for Shedeur long term? That's when Ryan Clark jumped in with enough fire to light up the entire First Take studio. RC didn't just disagree, he tore down the entire one game decides everything idea like it was built out of thin paper. Shedeur Sanders is walking into an offense that couldn't score even if someone handed them a discount code at checkout, and somehow he's supposed to revive it after 4 practices. No way anyone survives that without help. But RC wasn't stopping for air. He pushed the conversation deeper and, yes, a little pettier, in the best possible way. Dan wanted to keep things calm and logical, but RC pulled the life ain't fair card like someone who's lived through every unfair snap on the field. He said the quiet truth out loud.
well. Scouts, aficionados said the game appeared to be too quick for him, that he routinely held onto the ball too long and was subjected to immense pressure, 11 quarterback pressures and 2 sacks, by the way. I don't know whether Shedeur Sanders is an NFL quarterback or not. And I don't blame anybody for assuming and surmising that he may not be. But how does he get 0 snaps with the first team? How a player is able to say they were unfamiliar with his snap count?
There's a real difference between how teams treat a 3rd-round quarterback and a 5th-round one. And Shedeur is the 5th-rounder. That means no royal treatment, no red carpet, no special plays, no priority reps, and no bonus patience. You get what's left after everyone else eats, and sometimes that plate is almost empty. And Cam Newton wasn't sugarcoating a thing. He laid it out straight. This is a make-or-break spot, not because it should be, but because that's how the league operates. In this league, Shedeur's tape has to be sizzling, not warm, not promising, not he'll grow into it. No, sizzling. Because if it isn't, fans, critics, and half of Cleveland are going to start yelling, "See? I told you," before Shedeur even reaches the tunnel. The analysts kept trying to cushion it, but Stephen A was smashing the panic button like it owed him money. He even brought up Jerry Jeudy as proof of how fast this city and its media can flip when they think a player looks checked out. And if Shedeur drops another 4 for 16 with a passer rating that looks like someone's shoe size, Stephen A says Cleveland will lose its mind.
Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good. He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
it doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones.
What are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this?
And the narrative around him will collapse faster than one of the Browns' playoff pushes. Dan Orlovsky, bless that man, kept trying to play referee. He pointed out that the Browns' offense is practically imaginary right now, that even good quarterbacks would struggle with this lineup, and that judging Shedeur in this chaos would be borderline nonsense. But Stephen A wasn't at the desk to be reasonable. He was there to bring volume, stress relief, and premium-grade theatrics. Then the panel turned their attention to Kevin Stefanski like he was sitting under a spotlight. Was he preparing Shedeur the right way? Did he give him enough reps? Did he mishandle the whole quarterback room? Or was this entire thing just one giant storm of bad timing and rookie chaos? Cam came with the receipts, backup reps, going to Joe Flacco. Stefanski going weeks without even saying Shedeur's name in the media. Weird decisions that made people start squinting like they were trying to solve a puzzle.
And sounds like he did pretty good. I've seen the video clips. He's moving in the pocket well. He's finding his targets. He's hitting his targets. He's making plays on the run. He's throwing accurate passes on the move. He's doing all the things that during the pre-draft process, scouts and analysts said would be his positives, his pros moving into the NFL, and he looks impressive. It looked good, and I just want to see what continues to transpire as the week.
Not accusing him, just suspicious. The same vibe you get when someone swears they didn't touch your leftovers, but the fridge smells like you're missing spaghetti. RC backed it up, reminding everyone that Cleveland hasn't exactly rolled out the welcome mat since draft day. From being picked lower than expected to being treated like a late addition backup behind other rookies, nothing about the organization has screamed, "We believe in you." Stephen A. clarified again that he wasn't accusing Kevin Stefanski of doing anything wrong, but he definitely made it clear that a whole lot of people in Cleveland were whispering otherwise. And if Shedeur Sanders stepped on that field looking unprepared one more time, Stephen A. said the noise would hit a level nobody could ignore. And that's where the whole discussion landed, right in the middle of a storm. A franchise that looks split in half, a fan base ready to explode. Analysts pulled between logic, fear, and plain frustration. And Shedeur standing dead center.
Damn. You have a coach in Kevin Stefanski who is a two-time coach of the year. This man knows what he's doing. I respect the hell out of Kevin Stefanski. There is no way that you can send a quarterback out there looking that damn lost, not having any cadence, any reps whatsoever with the first team. No way. That's what happened. And I don't think that's an accident. That's just my personal opinion. I don't report on the Cleveland Browns. I'm not coming from a knowledgeable and informed perspective here. I haven't gotten word.
Making his first NFL start after 4 practices behind a depleted offense with 50 cameras in his face and expectations stacked higher than a linebacker's lunch tray. In Stephen A.'s world, this isn't just a game. This is a pressure cooker, a judgment day, a career-defining moment wrapped in chaos, confusion, and maybe, just maybe, a hint of something suspicious behind the scenes. But Dan and RC kept pushing the simpler view. This is football. A tough moment, a rookie spot, a chance to grow and prove he belongs. Either way, Sunday is coming fast. And with everything building around him, Shedeur Sanders isn't just walking into a game. He's stepping into a whole situation. And the funniest part? Everyone on the set pretended this wasn't one of Stephen A.'s full meteor shower meltdowns. They nodded like he was breaking down ancient wisdom instead of unloading a frustration-filled roast session that could power half the studio.
Inept, a talented quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, at least when I saw him in college, was in his first pro debut when he came in after Dylan Gabriel went down. But now he's getting those reps because Kevin Stefanski has said he's starting this weekend. Now we're going to see. I'm not telling you got to go out there and look like a star or anything like that. But he cannot look completely clueless. He cannot look lost. It cannot replicate what he did that past weekend, and he's still going to have a future in Cleveland. I don't believe it for 1 second. That's what I believe is on the line right now when we're talking about Shedeur Sanders.
Meanwhile, producers were off-screen calculating how many sponsors they might lose if he pushed his voice even one level higher. The second Stephen A. brought up Shedeur, the whole panel tightened up like a group project squad, hearing the kid who never shows up suddenly announce he has thoughts. Stephen A. went from mildly annoyed to spiritually offended in seconds. Suddenly, Shedeur wasn't just a rookie quarterback. He was the living symbol of every frustration Stephen A. has ever had with young players, modern sports culture, and even the cost of taking care of your hairline on national television. He broke down Shedeur's decisions like he was reviewing an award-winning thriller. Every drop snap, every half-second pause, every moment Shedeur looked confident. Stephen A. turned it into a full-on national discussion. The panel barely blinked because blinking too much would look like disagreement. And in Stephen A.'s world, disagreeing means you're next. That's the Stephen A. rule book. Once the fire starts, either leave the kitchen or expect to get sautéed.
Is there anything to this Shedeur not getting first-team reps?
I think it's a little bit strange.
Yeah.
You know?
You do think it? So you think it is?
I mean,
okay.
the guy's
All right.
one turned ankle from one concussion check from upstairs. Drake May had to leave the game for 2 plays last week because the upstairs they thought he had a concussion. Right. So how could he not get 1 rep during the week? Now, just because that's the answer doesn't mean that's what's happening, but that struck me.
So you weren't buying what he was saying about, Dylan did because Flacco.
No, I buy that.
But the comedy really hit when he talked about Shedeur's confidence. Stephen A. acted like Shedeur was strutting around team facilities wearing a king's robe, carrying a scepter, and asking people to address him as Your Highness of Boulder. As if the kid wasn't just trying to play football while the entire sports world analyzed what he ate for breakfast. At this point, even the camera crew was probably texting their group chat like, "He's still going. Someone unplug him before we miss lunch." Stephen A. was on a roll that nobody could stop. And Shedeur Sanders? He was somewhere minding his own business, probably tying his cleats or working through footwork drills, completely unaware he had become the main character in a televised volcanic eruption. That's the full Shedeur experience. He sneezes, and suddenly 5 analysts are debating whether his breathing rhythm affects his future draft value. It's wild. Then Stephen A. brought up leadership, and the entire panel silently braced for impact. When he enters leadership mode, the man starts speaking with his entire body. Hands swinging, chair leaning, eyebrows moving like they're trying to get their own segment.
Has earned first-team reps when training camp commences later in July. I'm not saying like he's the first guy up when you do 11 on 11s, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at training camp. I'm not necessarily saying that. But he's the one quarterback that we didn't get a chance to see take reps with the ones. But I think Shedeur has a chance to like make this conversation interesting if he gets those reps with the ones and he has the same success that he did with the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. I have confidence he can show you something, but
he turns into a motivational speaker who lost his script but kept every ounce of energy. He painted the situation like Shedeur had organized a locker room takeover, rewritten the franchise rulebook, and crowned himself quarterback emperor. All because the kid showed a little confidence. In Stephen A.'s universe, confidence is only allowed if you're a legend, a longtime veteran, or someone who calls him personally after every win. Anyone else? Suddenly it's treated like a high-level crime. And every time he made a point, he paused like he expected thunder to strike the studio for dramatic effect. But nothing happened. Probably because even the weather knew better than to interrupt the Stephen A. rant mid-swing. But here's the part underneath all the shouting. Stephen A. wasn't actually mad at Shedeur. He was mad at everything around Shedeur, the hype, the confusion, the pressure, the non-stop expectations. All of it swirling around a rookie trying to survive the NFL just like every other first-year quarterback. But instead of saying it calmly, Stephen A. delivered the message through a full thunderstorm performance that had the panel debating whether they should applaud or call building security. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.